Welcome to STEM and welcome to this painting tutorial for these Sternguard models in a Crimson Fist style. Hi there guys, thank you very much for joining us. In today's painting tutorial we have got me painting up some more Crimson Fists. It's been a bit of a series, decided to get a lot of models done and record them all at the same time so that everyone has a choice of what they're wanting to do. This Crimson Fist pattern can be used for any Space Marine models out there, so feel free to reuse it multiple times on your actual models. But you do need a bit of an airbrush. You can do it with hand brushing, but I do recommend you do a lot of this tutorial with an airbrush. It's basically just got the blue. Yes, I know I've put the shoulder pads on the opposite way around. That's because I collected these guys back in the days of Rogue Trader, and in the days of Rogue Trader, the left-hand shoulder pad was ablative and was supposed to be removed, and so it was not to defile the chapter symbol by having it point towards the enemy. Right, let's get these undercoated. First off, spray all models with a matte black primer. Then a zenithal spray of lead belcher. Now that's any type of silverite you want, as long as it's kind of mid-tone. So we coated the entire model with a mix of 75% known oil with 25% contrast medium, and that's going to give us some nice shading for the next step. So I'm masking off what I need to mask off before I apply the blue. So after masking off to try and protect as much as the silver items I wanted to keep as possible, I've put Telesar blue through an airbrush. This is the result. We're now going to tidy the rest of it up. With the black down, we've now gone and dry brushed it with a heavy dry brush of Dark Reaper and then a dry brush of Administratum Grey more towards the edges, just to pick out those edge highlights. Proceeding to the next stage, we are putting Rhinox Hide or Bestial Brown if you've got the old paints onto the Marines. Anything that's kind of like a parchment section we've got painted. We've got the cloth that's been painted. Hands have also been painted with the Bestial Brown or Rhinox Hide Pokemon. Anything that I'm intending on gold and bone, basically cover that with the Rhinox. So now let's get painting with the namesake, the Crimson Fist. So as you can see, all of the Rhinox Hide is now dry. I'm going to quickly do a little bit on there for the purity seal. Look at that, that's all nice and done. And then we're going to paint some of the actual fist. So just doing in a downward motion, make sure that you're using corn red. I know it's a base paint, but if you thin it, it can be a nice layer paint. Anything can be a nice layer paint if you thin it enough. And I really do like the darkened colour. Just apply it over the top, make sure it's nice and smooth, and once it's dried, you want to go back over again over the top just to reinforce the colour, just leaving the recesses. When you go back over a second time, you can, if you wish, just leave a bit more of the recess, and then that'll give you a natural highlight coming in. So on the cloak we're going to pretty much do a similar thing, but we are going to make sure that we're going to do it with a larger brush and then do it in lines and layers. So I'll just show you that now. So when it comes to the cloth, we want to wet, we still want the same colour, we're going to still use the corn red, we want it a little bit more runny than we did before. Sorry for not showing you my wet palette work, but this is all up to you on how thick you're actually wanting to get, because some people will not even bother doing this, they'll just have it quite thick going on there. And then we're going to pick out the edges to start with. Don't get me wrong, this will die down. Leaving some of the recess. Now I'm going to follow that line. Line there. And I'm going to start to fill it in. You need to turn the model round to fill it in. You can do. I like to do mine sideways. And of course go back and forth. Don't change direction, make sure that you're doing a sweeping up, kind of like an up, down or left and right motion while doing this. And it will dry lighter. Once it's dry, you need to go over it again and maybe even over it again to get the desired level of crimson that you're actually after. And don't forget to do, like for example, that's a bit of a recess there. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. Yeah, we're getting there now, folks. We're starting to crack on. And so let's get some of these purity seals and any particular type of tabard painted. So I'm going to get some purity seals painted. I've got some Carrick Stone wet palette, make it nice and thin, and then we're just going to, using the brush, just kind of apply it, but making sure we're doing it like in strokes, but in one direction, which is of course sideways against. Now if you've got a slightly older brush, that can sometimes work wonders on this, and this will dry pretty quick. So what you'll find is that once you've done the back, you can probably come round and then just reinforce what you've been doing on the front. And again, we're doing it in lines. So we've used some Ushabti bone on the purity seals, and we've gone and painted any bone elements, which is not a lot on these, but I've also gone and painted any items that are bone coloured, any items that I want to be gold with retributor armour. That's what I meant to say. So next is going to be leather items. On the leather items, we've done in with Doomball Brown, and then we've gone in with Scrag Brown as a bit of a highlight. I've done it many times before, actually on this channel as well. We're going to be coming in with a wash, so don't worry if it looks a little messy at the moment. So now we've got the leather pieces down. We've got all the colours that we need on top of those browns. We're now going to wash them. So any bone is going to be skeleton horde. Any gold and parchment is going to be Agrak Surf Shade, and any leather items is going to be Seraphim Sepia. Parchment and leather pieces plus any bone pieces dry. So now cut back in on the parchment and bone. We're going to use Ushabti bone, just thin down, very precise detailed brush. We're just going to put in little lines just to try and finish it off, a bit of edge highlighting. On the leather, we're going to go back in again with the Scrag Brown. Again, we're just going to be looking at edge highlighting. And for the gold, cut back in with the same gold, and then a little tiny bit of silver on the edges. Now we've got the solid yellow on the actual chest. We need to wash it, and we're going to do that with some Cassandra yellow, or Cassandra? No, I don't think it's that, but you know. Also, I've painted the eyes white with some grey sear. I'm going to do the eyes with some, sounds disgusting, but we're going to do painting the eyes with some oak flesh contrast. But I'll see if I can show you how to do that. So let's get these models done. I've got the green in. I've done the contrast wildwood in thin lines on the parchment, and we've just gone and done a little bit of flash kits yellow on the chest piece. Just gives it a bit of highlight. I'm just about to look in the camera there. Just gives it a bit of a highlight. We've got the number on the side. So we just need to get these bad boys based up, transferred, and done. There we go. The squad is finished. I didn't want to put anything on that particular pauldron. If I was honest and had the ability to be able to do so without it just taking time, I would remove those shields because I hate them. I don't like the look of them at all, even on some of the other models. But hey ho, it's kind of on there because it's a bit more of a solid model. Could have done some customizing, but I was trying to get through a lot of my backlog from the previous edition. Now that we've gone on to Armageddon, yeah, I'll decide to paint up all the models from the previous. Well, thank you very much for joining us, guys. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff you can do for people here on the US Tube. And we'll see you in the next video.